2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brannon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy, the best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us.
How do I stay transparent after the disclosure?
Welcome to the Therapy Brothers podcast.
I'm Brannon.
I'm Tyler.
We're brothers.
We're therapists.
And we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
Hey, Tyler, you ready to have some hard conversations?
Let's do it.
Let the Therapy Brothers podcast begin.
Brannon, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. It's starting to get like right on the verge of kids back in school now. Fall's starting to come on, and fall is hunting season, so that's a good thing.
That's good. Dude, hey, I was thinking about a memory.
Oh no.
Remember when you and your friends would go out and you'd call it go out and shaft people?
We're gonna go out and shaft. We're gonna go shafting tonight.
Whatever that means. Back in the 90s.
That was the language, right?
I guess just in our little neck of the woods, but I think it was just your friends, actually. But you were out shafting people, whatever that means. And so me and my friend and Rex, we snuck out. And
I remember that.
When we snuck out, we pushed the car down the road so mom and dad wouldn't hear us. And we went to the store and we bought a bunch of eggs and stuff because we were gonna find the shafters, you guys, and shaft you.
You were gonna egg us.
You were gonna egg the shafters. And instead we go in the grocery store and we come out and there's all these cops and they arrest us for stealing a car because they didn't know that was our car. That someone had driven by when we were pushing the car down the road, and that was the night I got arrested for stealing a car.
They got so what ended up happening?
All because you were out shafting.
I love how you're blaming me for this. I went in, I kissed mom and dad goodnight at like midnight, and then I snuck back out my window to go hang out with my friends and
the
do the
golden
shafting.
Child.
Yeah, because I had to keep up my images. And then you guys were stupid enough to steal the car and get caught for it. And then you're buying like 6 dozen eggs at the store. Of course, you're going to get called like at 2 a.m. Like, so then what has ended up happening, and this is what I remember about this, is you got in trouble and got arrested for stealing your parents' car. They took you home, and then they found out because of you guys that I wasn't in my bedroom either. So I got busted because you guys were terrible at what you were doing.
No, you got busted because you were out shafting. I didn't make that choice. You did.
And I remember coming home, and on the doors had been locked by mom and dad, and on the door there was a note from dad that said, "Hope you boys had a good time. See you bright and early." And then he put us to work at like 5 a.m, from like 5 a.m all day long. He just worked us to death. So
he's
we had
like,
no sleep.
He's like, we got all these eggs. You're cooking me scrambled eggs in the morning. So, anyways,
I remember that. Yeah, that was the first time I ever got caught sneaking out.
Which you only did like once, right?
Yeah, like weekly.
Yeah. So, anyways, Dom, welcome back to the show.
It's good to have you back,
thanks.
Dom.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Glad you guys let me back on.
Yeah, absolutely. So just fill us in. Tell us what you've been thinking about and any questions that you have for us.
So here recently, so after the last one, I had a disclosure coming up. So we did the disclosure, which really, really bad on my part. Started, I don't know what feelings came of me. I'm like, you know what? I'm really sick of this. I'm sick of still having little things here and there to hide. Even though that based off just with TV shows, watching TV shows with an absurd amount of sexual content and playing into all that, which were all my loopholes. I was like, I want to get rid of all these loopholes. So there was a lot more added into my disclosure than everybody previously thought, which my mistake. I added that in day of. Which did quite a bit of damage. There's quite a bit of rebuilding to do on that. And then for about 2 weeks after that, there were just little things that kept popping up that I knew my wife she wouldn't be okay with. And they were all personal things, like nothing. Some stuff was personal, not related to addiction. And other stuff that still were, like looking for watching a certain TV show and then just not telling her about it, outside of VidAngel. And so that's where I'm kind of stuck. I'm sick of my mind constantly looking for loopholes. Like I'm always looking, my addict self's always looking for an out. It's always looking for a loophole. So it's been a weird feeling now, because I've been doing my best and I've been doing it, being as transparent as I possibly can, and just almost negating any loopholes as they might come up. And I just want to keep that constant. I want to be consistent with that. And I just don't know where those loopholes are coming from. Like, why are they there? Why is it so hard for me to let go of that part of myself? So it's like letting the addict go, the addiction side all the way. It's like that's still that one little string that still keeps me bound to it.
Yeah, I'm hearing two things actually in what you're saying, and I think they run hand in hand with each other all the time. There's a part of you that is still clinging to the addiction for whatever reason. We'll explore that in a minute. And then the way that you're coping when you talk about loopholes is it's not just loopholes for the addiction, it's loopholes around your integrity. You're still wrestling with what it actually means to live with and be in integrity, because that's the way that you then can create the loopholes to get whatever it is that you're still trying to pursue through your addiction. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's a rough spot to be in when you finally, what I love about what you're saying, Dom, is that you, the deeper you get into recovery, the more of a conscience you start to develop. And now you're starting to have the curse and the blessing of having a conscience again. And that means that it's going to lead you to some choices about transparency, honesty, and accountability until there's a new habit system that gets formed to go along with it. So I'm glad you're here, man.
Yeah, me too. I just want to get this stuff figured out.
I wonder, see if I can ask this so it makes sense. Are you intermingling your truth with your wife's truth? Like, I guess the question is, do you know what your truths are independent of hers?
Honestly, I can't say if I do or I don't. I mean, I'm still at that spot. I really don't even know uh, who the hell I really am. I'm still
Okay.
working on figuring out who I am.
Okay. So it's hard to be authentic and transparent if you don't really know who you are. So I guess we need to be careful when we talk about transparency and integrity to not say, okay, what that means is compliance with everything your wife tells you that you should be doing. Integrity, your strength as a man and who you are, you're going to make those decisions on whatever sobriety is or whatever, independent of her. And as long as you're like, am I being a good boy to her? Or there's going to be this anxiety going on, and you're going to be nitpicking every little thing that you're doing. And that's not going to feel like peace.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think some of the stuff that was brought up as I went back like on my journaling and stuff. So I had an issue with a TV show, I don't know, a little over a week ago. And I went back to journal on it. And I could see, okay, my last journal entry before then was 8-1. And I could kind of go back and I started playing back that entire week. Like, hey, what was I doing to get me to this point? And then as I go through my journals, it's like, hey, those little things like the TV shows or movies or anything, if they stay constant, then that's when I have bigger issues, my acting out or anything like that. Is trying to get rid of all of those little habits, those little things that end up snowballing and letting everything get out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a different way, Dom, of asking what Brannon was saying is like, and I kind of hear it in you, but I would love for you to try to put it into words. Why are you doing what you're doing for your recovery? Why are you questioning the show that you watch? Why are you questioning the thing that you did? Why are you seeing these loopholes now? Like, why are you doing what you're doing right now, Dom?
I really don't like the person I start becoming on it. I start getting little thing when I like on the TV show things. If I watch a whole bunch of sexual content or I get focused on that, I'll start finding myself just fast forwarding through an entire show just to wait for one scene or one part of a movie. And then after that, I start getting irritable. So I'm shorter with everybody in the house. Not really focused at work. I'm more irritable when I'm at work. And I just don't like the person that I become.
Okay.
Or that it starts getting me to.
So you're starting to answer what Brannon's question was, and you're answering it in a way that actually indicates that you want to work real recovery. Because what Brannon was saying is if you're going like, well, I just don't want my wife to be mad at me and I want to make sure I'm pleasing everybody, then that's the wrong answer. But when you sit and ask yourself and look yourself in the mirror, you go, man, this doesn't help me become the man that I ultimately want to be and that I'm being called to now. And I remember our last conversation, I remember feeling like you're starting to answer the call of something bigger than the life that you've been living. And when you say that, you know, I don't know if you can see the quote on the wall behind me or not, but it says, a man without decision of character can never be said to belong to himself. He belongs to whatever will make captive of him. And what you're starting to realize is that you need to be a man who decides the nature of who he wants to be, who he's being called to be. And so now you're questioning these things from the inside out and going, this makes me irritable. This makes me, you know, kind of obsessive. It makes me feel less about myself. It makes me feel less productive. It makes me feel like less of a man. Okay. Then your question is a valid question that you're coming on here and asking and saying, I got to figure out how to stop lying to myself and everybody else. And I've got to figure out how to understand what it is why do these habits die so hard? But now it's an authentic place you're asking it from, which is a great step to have been in.
Yeah.
The energy behind what you do is important. So that's what transparency and integrity ultimately is. So, God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. And so there's a great book by a guy named David Hawkins. It's called Power versus Force. And basically what he's saying is we either operate from a place of fear, which is force, or we operate from a place of love, which is powerful. Now, if you're always worried that you're going to get in trouble, like I'm being a bad boy, or I'm going to get in trouble, you're going to do a few things. You're going to either hide what you do because of yikes, I don't want to get in trouble, or you're going to overperform. Look, I'm being such a good boy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing. That is still fear-based. You might be doing seemingly good things for the wrong reason and creating more shame, and because you're operating in a state of fear. When you know yourself, then you step into your power. You're acting and operating from a place of love. It's easy to be transparent. Oh, what'd you do? I did this. Why? Well, this is why I made that decision, and I'm aware of the consequences, and I'm willing to own those things. And I'm going to be honest about them, right? So verse is like, I need a tattletale on myself because she's about to catch me. Do you see what I'm saying? Or I'm going to get in big trouble. And so it does come back to what you said earlier, Dom. Like, I don't know if I know myself, and like I need to discover who I really am. That's really at the crux of all of this. If you turn on a TV show and let's say you watch it and you're dead honest, you want to watch it because there's action in it and you want to be entertained, and your wife comes in and says, and I don't know if she'd say this or not, but she comes in and says, why are you watching this? Like, you're acting out, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, maybe I am. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a relapse. Boom, you just got dishonest. Although you're admitting to something that you think you should, because, do you see what I'm saying? So you just took away building trust with her and you got dishonest. Now, if you're in your power, you'd say, you know what? I wanted to watch this for the action. There was some sex scenes. I did see them. I'll own that. But this is why I turned that on. Now, that has to be honest.
The honesty is the key. Self-honesty is the key here.
But if you're in your power, then you can own it. You can, I did. And I realized like that could be triggering, that there could be consequences with us because of that. I'm just being honest with you why I turned that on. Right. But you see, you have to trust yourself. You have to know yourself to step into that powerful place.
It sounds like, Brannon, he is being honest with himself about, I watched a whole show just to fast forward to the one scene. Okay. And now I'm acknowledging that that's a part of me that isn't helpful, that isn't healthy, that's not producing for me, and I can't seem to stop it. Okay, that's a different conversation now, because now the conversation is, all right, let's understand what you're chasing, and let's get busy on looking at whether or not it's habit loop that needs to shift, or emotional issues that need attention, but now it's honest about the work I need to do.
But Tyler, I think there's a question underneath it, which is, are you really the one who's not okay with doing that? And if the answer is yes, I'm the one that's not okay doing that, then if your wife were to be in Timbuktu, you'd still be working your recovery saying like, this isn't what I want.
Like, man, why did I just spend all day while she was out of town fast forwarding through shows for this? And the question would be internally driven of, I got to figure this out. That's what I hear you coming on the show and asking today, Dom, is you're actually asking, I want to figure this out for myself. And that's important because then the work becomes different. You don't have to spend all your time and energy performing for other people. You get your time and your energy going in. Why? Like, why do I want to change? And what is it that's holding me back? And what are the next steps that I need to take Now, part of coming to know yourself, and I think this is true for a lot of men that we work with, is that if I ask most men, they say, I don't really know who I am. I say, okay, well, were you designed to be an honest man? Almost every guy I work with would say, of course I want to be an honest man. All right, well then let's start there. Like, we can start there, and if I'm not an honest man, I can get busy working on what it means to be an honest man. And part of what Brannon's saying is that's not just honest outwardly by telling on myself all the time, but it's honest inwardly in saying, why am I doing the things that I do and what makes me tick? And what do I need to now do to make those changes if I'm saying I want to make those changes?
But an honest man will own his sexuality. So am I designed to be an honest man? Yes. Am I designed to be a sexual being? Yes. Okay. So honesty isn't just about I need to reject my sexuality enough and then tattletale on myself when I do bad things. Honesty is about owning all of you. And so you got to be really careful to not get caught up in that thing of like, oh my gosh, I gotta like self-reject in order to be good.
But Brannon, like, this is good because there's another side to that too, which is if my sexuality is blowing up my life, I need to be honest about that too, without rejecting it,
right?
But also saying there's a different way for me to express my sexuality than the way that it's not producing for me in my life too, and that has to be honest as well.
Both.
Yes.
Both. But both. Like really, if you just go to that tighten up, then you're in a state of fear. You're in a state of like, okay, I'm going to just manage my behaviors because I'll break some things and get in trouble. But both, what Tyler said is true. I need to be honest. Like if I was like, well, I'm going to justify going to do all these sexual things because like, that's what I want to do. And I'm just being honest about it. Well, the truth is I'm using manipulation and denial and justification and all this stuff in order to say, yeah, I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with those consequences. If I were to get honest with myself, I'd say I'm not okay with that. And what the hell am I doing? And so that on both sides of the fence is that honest piece.
We're talking a lot, Dom, but I think what we're getting at here is there's this balance that has to be struck between the constant work of self-understanding and self-acceptance with the ownership of my choices and all of the consequences that come with it. And I'm the one where the buck stops with both of those things. What are you thinking as me and Brannon are kind of having this back and forth, Tom?
A couple things come up for me. So like the codependency on my wife around my addiction, I've done since that came up, and you guys brought that up, and we talked about it a little bit on my last podcast. The last time I was with you guys, I've been doing a really deep dive into that, and I think that's where that is where my mindset shifted when it came to disclosure. I'm wanting to, I want to be honest with myself. I want to be honest with everybody around me, everybody that's trying to give me support, but more importantly with myself, I really want to figure this out because I'm sick of being on a roller coaster myself, emotionally, stress levels, and everything else. And that's where really all this, but then the next thing that really comes up is which side of the fence do you start on? Mm-hmm. Do I have to figure one side out first? Because I have no idea what healthy sexuality even looks like for me. Like no clue whatsoever. So do you start on one side of the fence first with just the honesty portion of it? And then once you have that portion figured out, then start digging into, hey, what does my healthy sexuality actually look like?
Tyler, do you want to go? That's a great question. I have an answer, but when we may differ, Tyler. I don't know.
We might actually, and I think I would actually say it depends, and I would say take a look at your own situation and where you've been more deficient between those two places, and I would put a little bit more overcorrection in those places. And in your case, it might be both, Dom. Like I've been self-rejecting and I haven't been very boundaried. All right, then my work is actually the constant work of self-compassion with healthy boundaries. Whereas if I've been prone to be in denial a lot and say, you know what, like this doesn't really hurt anybody and it's not hurting me and it's really not that big of a deal, well then I probably but deep down inside the honest answer is, yeah, this is kind of like causing me all the problems that I just outlined to Tyler and Brannon. Yeah, I need to focus on healthy boundaries around my sexuality. Where Brannon's been going, and I think he's spot on, is too many people set the boundaries in order to kill their sexuality, and that's not the goal. The boundaries are they need to be designed more to harness the power of that sexuality towards the outcomes that you want than to see yourself as a bad person because you would like to watch a show that has sex scenes in it. Right. So in your case, Dom, I actually think it's kind of both. And I can speak really more from a personal place that the two biggest things in my recovery, especially early on, were the two things we're talking about. I was taught about, in my case, it was more what Brannon was talking about. I was so afraid of losing everything that I figured out how to get sober, and I put boundaries, really hard boundaries in place. And I was operating from a place of like fear, a place of control, a place of like not the healthy, sustainable fuel source, but it was something that got me started into sobriety. And then I started learning about this concept called self-compassion, and I started practicing it every day. And I was already sober, and then I started to go, oh, I'm not a bad person because I have sexual feelings. Oh, you know what? Like, I don't have to kill that part of myself anymore. I'm actually a really good person who's a work in progress, who's not perfect, who can constantly keep growing. And when I started to fuse that self-compassion with what I'd already put in place for my boundaries, that's where the fuel source started to shift from fear into this place of what I call love. Like that's what Brennan's talking about. And that is such a more sustainable direction forward. So in my case, it was maybe not the healthiest way to do it, but I had to figure out how to stop the behavior that was causing all the damage. And luckily I was also taught, hey, self-compassion is the way to tap into the right motivation. So go ahead, Brannon.
Well, I that's a great answer, Tyler. I agree. And to Dom's question, I just think they're not a different side of the fence. They're the same side of the fence. And let me explain. It's a dialectic that a lot of people have a difficult time holding both at the same time. That I can both be honest about everything about my shadow, all parts of my sexuality. And because I'm honest and I own that, I'm in more healthy control in my life and stepping into my truths more because I'm honest about those things. And we're so scared that, owning those things is going to lead us to indulgence. Like, let me give you a couple examples, stories. So I had this, and warning, this could trigger a little bit for some people. I had this sex addict client come in and say, "God, he's this young kid," and he's like, someone told me that Brazilians like Americans, and that I could just go down to Brazil and have sex with a bunch of hot women, right?" And I said, "Well, why don't you?" He's like, "I think I'm going to." And then he turned on me. He's like, "Would you want to do that?"
Loaded question.
Yeah. So what do you think I said to him?
You said a part of me would love to go do that.
Yeah. I actually said I would absolutely love to go do that, and I wouldn't go do that. So that's an example of that dialectic is, yeah, like I desire to have sex with beautiful women. I'm a red-blooded man. That's who I am. I don't desire to go have sex with a bunch of women because I'm also a father and a husband and a man who wants to create loyalty and deep love and connection in my relationships. So I realize like those things are both true, and I get to choose what I want. Can you see the dialectic there? I'm going to own it. Yeah, it's there. But I'm also going to choose what I want and step into my power.
Yeah.
So you following that, Dom?
Yeah.
No.
I kind of put it back at like kind of lead it into where my decisions come from. So like before example, I would do stuff around the house and do stuff I know, hey, made my wife happy, just with the expectation, hey, okay, I'm going to get laid, or it's going to lead into something else. Whereas now I've been working on this for a while now, is being intentional about, okay, hey, I can help her with the laundry. I can lay out her clothes that she changes into before she goes to bed every night. But the place that it's coming out of now is just a place of nurture and love. Just, hey, that's my way to show, hey, I'm here. I know what you need. I know that I love you. There's no expectations.
What if Dom, what if it was coming from a place of, yeah, and I hope I get laid?
Well, yeah, let's play that out for a second, Dom. Like, I'll be your wife for a minute. Oh, you laid out the clothes for me, Dom. Like, wow, is that your way of saying you want to get laid tonight?
She probably wouldn't be. She probably wouldn't be that direct.
No, I don't think that conversation would go that way. But I could see myself, because I've caught myself in those moments to where that's when I start getting shameful about my sexuality there.
Yeah, that's where we're going, Dom. I want you to answer the question the way that, with that dialectic Brannon just painted the picture of, because what you're saying is you're retraining yourself to just offer your wife love in those ways without expectation, at the same time that you would still love to get laid.
Yeah.
Both are true.
Yeah.
Right? So if she comes to you and she's not going to say it straightforward like that, but like, oh, like, what are you trying to do? Like, you trying to have sex tonight, Dom? What's the answer?
No, that's not my intention, but it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. Okay. That's honest. That's what Brannon's getting at, is like, hey, my intention was to just show you that I love you. And of course, I'm always turned on by you. And I'm not saying that I'm expecting it, but yes, I'm turned on by you. But no, I did that because I just want you to know that I care about you.
Gotcha.
Or if you did it because you're trying to get laid, then you're like, absolutely, I'm doing this because I want to get laid. I love you and I would love to have sex tonight. But I want you to know that no is always a good answer, and I can handle it if you're not up for it tonight. Like I'm okay. So it's like honest, I'm horny, I want to have sex, this is who I am. And that was my intention. And you know what? Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
Just to add to that, Brannon, the key here, and the Dom is what you said, is when you approach it with that dialectic, then you don't have to drop into your shame.
You don't have to manipulate any which way.
There's no shame in the fact that you're sexually attracted to your wife, that you were honest with her, and that you didn't expect anything. Like, that's all true, and there's no
hold
shame
it all.
Yeah, like it's been a hard struggle for me. Just what you guys are talking about, whether hey, am I actually like finding myself and being honest with myself, or it's almost like a really fine tightrope to walk. It feels like right now. And it goes into where she's at in her own recovery too, what's going to trigger her, and so on and so forth. So that's the other part of that tightrope that goes on too, is trying to be empathetic to where she is with her recovery.
Heather, I can't remember the quote you used on the podcast we recorded last week about Mr. Nice Guy, but something about, when something's presented in front of you, especially from your partner, like is your first step like scanning the situation to try to give the answer that you think she wants to hear, versus answering the question honestly? Yeah, I can't remember how you worded that, Tyler. Do you remember that?
I don't remember it either, Brannon. But I get where you're going here, and I think this is another dialectic that Dom just kind of pointed out here. Is of course you want to be sensitive and sort of like situationally aware and empathetic to what the needs of your partner are. And you can't let that be the defining factor as to what you're going to like, what's still honest. Right. So it'd be better to be honest and then empathetic with the response that happens from your spouse than to manipulate your spouse's feelings by not being honest and then having to manage being dishonest. And because either way, you're not building trust that way. So the empathy is this. It would be like this. Here's an example. This happens all the time, especially early in recovery. You're out in public and like you're pumping gas or something, and a beautiful woman starts pumping gas next to you, and you happen to notice her, and you check her out for a little bit longer than maybe you want to, and your wife goes, "Hey, did you notice her? And did you think she's hot?" And you're in your brain going like, I need to make sure my wife's not upset with anything. So, what woman? I didn't see a woman. Like, well, no. Like, I'm sad that you're hurting right now. Or would it be better to say, "Oh yeah, I did notice her, and I was checking her out a little longer than I'd like to, and that's got to be really hard for you, babe. I'm sorry about that." Right? That would be better than the first option, which is like, I'm going to hurry and manipulate her feelings and not be honest. Right? But that would take shame resiliency to then say, yeah, like I'm not where I want to be yet, and that's part of what I'm working on, and like, but that's honest, and this is hard, and this is rough for both of us. Right? Like there's more trust in the second one than there is in the first one.
That's where I find my place more out of the slowly but surely. It's not perfect. It's not perfect by any means, because especially, I mean, hell, up until 4 or 5 months ago, it's exactly what I would do in every situation. I would scan. Hey, how's her body language? How's her tone? Playing scenarios over and over in my head. That's where I'm working on being is just, hey, answer. Just answer.
Here's the difference, and this is the motivation too, is what you're describing is in the first situation, you're still being self-centered and it's all about self-preservation, even though you think you're being sensitive to her. In the second situation, you can be actually sensitive to her because you're both living in the reality of what it is.
Yeah.
And now you're actually being sensitive with true empathy towards her for how hard it is and what a rough time she's having, rather than trying to manipulate her feelings because you're afraid of what her response is going to be towards you. And so it's actually less selfish in the second, more honest approach.
No, I think that's where because that's what I've come to terms, and this is a lot of the dialogue I have with my addict. Is all the dialogue back and forth with my addict, him protecting me. Because that's what I had to do when I was younger, my entire life. I had to scan and read situations. One, to either not get hurt, not be left, stuff thrown at me, so on and so forth. And so you're right, it is completely like self-preservation and selfish. I never really thought about it that way. Like I put it together before on why my addict is why I hold on so much, but I've never put it into the scanning situation on the, hey, why?
Well, and Dom, look at what you're doing right now. If we're talking dialectics, is as you said, I'm realizing now that is selfish, and there's a reason why I've developed it, and there's some self-compassion for myself as to why I do what I do. Like I've always been so afraid I've been hurt before unless I'm scanning and manipulating other people's feelings, and I've been rejected before, and so it makes sense why there's a part of me that still defaults to this. It's just not the kind of man I want to be anymore. So there's the both and. There's the dialectic even in what you just said, which is the way forward.
There's a catch-22 that a lot of guys don't understand, and it's, okay, I'm going to like try to figure out what to say to make them happy and to not get in trouble because I'm in fear that I'm not lovable, right? And so they're trying so hard to be lovable. And you know what the feminine really responds to? They respond to strength. You know how they feel strength is when a man can step into truth, even when it's hard. And so you're doing the very opposite thing that attracts a woman to you when you're running around with your head cut off, trying to figure out how to like please and make happy all the time. And so the key here, Dom, is not you showing up with her today and being like, hey, I'm just going to show up in my truth. Boom, 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 boom. The key here is doing your deeper work to say, I got to figure out that I'm lovable independent of her. I got to figure that I'm okay regardless of her feelings. And so that I can show calmness, empathy, love, and honesty at the same time. I can hold both of those at the same time. So I got to heal these wounds that are triggering these protector parts that are showing up in my relationship all the time with my wife. Got to heal those wounds, desensitize those triggers, learn how to unburden those parts. So boom, like that dialectic Brannon Tyler talking about, very doable for me now. But you got to go do that work in order to do that. I make it sound easy, don't I? Like, go ahead.
You do make it sound really easy.
What he left out, Dom, is that work will like rip your guts out to
The
get
process.
there. You know?
Yes. I've been doing a lot of the core dialogue work with my addict here over the past week and a half. And it is not that simple. It is not that easy.
It's true.
Yeah. But you're doing the right kind of work, Dom. You know.
As my therapist knows, when he's hitting on something, as soon as I don't like something or it's hitting on something really, really deep or actually doing something, I automatically think it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So once I think something's stupid, I know that's the work I need to actually do.
Yeah.
I was working with one of the guys in my in one of my groups. We do these series of challenges and assignments, and the last 2 weeks he's presented, and both weeks he's been like, I don't know why I do this assignment. This assignment's so stupid, you know. And then by the end of the thing, he's like busted wide open, and we're going to like really good places. And the very next week he comes back, he's like, this assignment is even more stupid than the last one. I was like, we're on the right track. Like we're totally on the right track because that's that protective part of you saying, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to look at that. And yeah, you're right. And if you lean into that, you're likely going to see that there's some stuff on the other side that's really valuable to you. Man, I can hear it, Dom. Like, you know, for the people who aren't watching the episode, who don't get to see what you look like, here we have this big, strong man who's probably spent his whole life making sure that he looks a certain way to keep people out so that they can't hurt him. And what you actually hear is you hear a man who's really working hard to get in touch with the true heart inside of himself. And I mean, even just coming on the show the couple times you have with the vulnerability you have, I think is already just kind of a telltale sign of where you're headed in your own recovery.
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on. Me staying safe up until I started recovery was intimidation. How can I out crazy everybody else? If I'm the craziest, if I'm the scariest, if I'm the biggest, then nobody can hurt me. And really all I am, I'm just a scared little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't want to get hurt. And that's it.
Yeah.
What's it like to say that out loud, Dom? You just said that to thousands of people, Dom. How's that feel?
Now that you just pointed it out, it's a little terrifying.
Yeah.
But also feels relieving at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that's one area that I kind of, there's still a lot of people that have that perception of me when I first meet them or anything else like that, especially with my job. I talk to a lot of people and meet with a lot of people. They're standoffish and scared and intimidated. And I'm like, okay, no, this isn't the person that I am. This isn't who I want to be. So now what I've tried to create my entire life actually causes me pain now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If that makes sense. That's where the relieving part is. Hey, I want everybody to know, hey, I was just a scared little kid. That's why I am the way I am. I'm really a good person. I've really got a big heart. I hold no ill will to anybody. And I'm just trying to figure all this out.
Yep.
It's really what I want everybody to know about me.
Yep.
That's honest, Dom. That's reality.
Well, Tyler, he said some reality in there that, like, Dom, you're not just a scared little kid. That's what you like. Your exterior is like, I'm tough and strong, and the belief about yourself is like, I'm unlovable and I'm weak and I just want to be loved. But who you really are is what you just said.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Who are you really?
I'm a good person.
Yeah.
With a big heart.
Yeah.
Care deeply about people I don't even know.
You know, Dom, like, people like Tyler and I, we can see through all of the exterior, acting weak and scared and child, and like what you just said is what Tyler and I feel from you.
Yeah.
Good person with a big heart.
Big heart.
They can love like so much, and just naturally wants to be good and do good, just in your soul. That's who you really are. That's who God made. Now, you've had all these experiences that have gotten you like like not knowing how important and how loved you are.
That's it. And that's the pathway forward, is the true acceptance of, and I love what you said, because that's what I feel from you, is big heart. Big heart. Like, I'm even picturing, like, this is embarrassing to say, but the Care Bears, tender heart bear. Like, it's time for Dom to get busy with the Care Bear stare, man. Like, kind of like let that love go. Like, that's your path forward, Dom, and what you're saying on the show today, admitting this to people, acting with courage and saying, hey, I'm scared of this. That's your power, is your heart. It's your heart. And when you unleash that on people around you, you're going to find that you are far more than you thought you were. But that's the risk. And that's the beauty of what I think Brannon and I both feel from you. We see you stepping into that, Dom. Like, we've only talked to you twice, and both of us would love to go, like, hang out with you and watch what you unleash on the world when you let the love do the talking instead of the fear.
Which is kind of, it's interesting, because at the beginning of the show, I remember saying I have no idea who I am. But then now we're towards the end of the show, and it feels good to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Own it, man.
And it feels really good to just admit it.
That's transparency.
That's honesty.
Yeah.
And still yet.
Oh, go ahead.
It's vulnerability, and it's still scary.
Yeah, it is, man.
You're like, right. In my head, the first thing that comes into my head is it's stupid.
Got those protectors are there. Like,
yeah.
Dom, you're the man. I'll have you on here as many times as you want to come, because it's just good to talk to you about recovery. It's good to see a man who's really trying to turn things around and fight for good stuff in your life. So I just want to thank you again for being here, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me on again.
There's no doubt in my mind, Dom, that the pathway you're on is going to lead you to a wholehearted life that you can be really, really proud of. I just hope you'll stay the course, keep acting with that courage, keep accepting the truth of who you are. You're going to get new names. You're going to get names like Big Heart, and you're going to get names like someone who loves, and you're going to get names like someone who cares. And the more you accept that, the more you'll prove yourself right. That's the way this works. So thank you. Thanks for coming on and letting us be a little snapshot picture of your journey. We'd love to make sure we do keep in contact with you, over the years as you continue to go, Dom. So for those of you guys listening, if you're feeling something right now, one of the ways you can help out is by reaching out on a review or something. Mention Dom's episode, throw him a little bit of love. And And thank you for being here listening to us, you guys. And until next time, keep on keeping on.